Welcome back to the channel, folks. I thought you guys might like to see the JVC TV721 before we get into today's project, whatever it is. Haven't decided yet. This deck broke land speed records getting here. I've never had a shipment from Japan come the slow way in so little time before. 35 days for this, but just check out the condition of this thing. This is one of my nicest tape decks, period. It's got some markings on the top, but not too bad. And more importantly, the heads look like they're flawless in there. Very happy with this purchase. Looks like it got very little use over the last 30 years or so. So we'll get to this in due time. I also had these tapes shipped with it. These are the old school Maxell capsule tapes. I was hoping some of them had intact J cards with no writing on them, but I guess zero's a number I'm going to have to accept on that one. I've not been able to find these in sealed new condition yet, so I figured I'd get a bunch of them in used shape and then maybe a couple of them I could use for something. I don't know. These use UD2 tape, which is a little bit inferior to the XL2s, but not by much. I loved those back in the day, and I guess I got nostalgic. What can I say? Today I've decided to go back to this old Bose AW-1 and finally get this finished up. Or at least try to get it finally finished up. I don't know if I'll be successful. Before we get into this, however, I just wanted to mention that August might be a little sporadic for videos. My scheduling is all messed up, particularly this week. Last week, I ended up staying up all night, literally trying to get lightning over in Gull Lake, Saskatchewan with the grain elevators there. To some success, but even so, it messed up my sleeping patterns big time, and I'm basically still trying to catch up on sleep from that. Plus, there was last night, I went out to shoot meteors, and got a couple of them, but even so, last night I was up real late again, so I am just tired as heck this week, so not exactly sure what's going to get done. And in a couple of weeks from now, I'm going up to Saskatoon to see my first concert ever, which is kind of a big deal to me because of the social anxiety disorder. But an offer was made I couldn't refuse. Strange Advances playing in Saskatchewan for the first time ever, I think, and I just have to go see them. It's not optional. I'm planning to do a video or two of the sort of a vlog kind of thing with that, but we'll see what happens. So what's wrong with the Bose AW-1? Well, we know from the previous videos on this. It's got a lot wrong with it. For one thing, the tuner still doesn't work. For another thing, the cassette deck still doesn't work because the motor's shot in it. That's what I'm hoping to use these for. And I'm also hoping to get this retrofitted for Bluetooth as well in this video. We'll see if I've got time for that. But first, I want to get into one of these motors and service it for possible installation into this device. And in here, hopefully I've got the stuff I need to finish the job with the cassette deck. I've got two new pinch rollers. These are cheap Chinese ones. Whatever, I don't care. They don't have to be too fancy for this machine. These are the transistors for the tuner issue, which hopefully will fix that problem. I'm not looking forward to installing those, but it depends on whether or not I actually get the tuner fixed as to what's going to happen with the Bluetooth mod, because if I can get the tuner fixed, then the Bluetooth mod will have to go through the auxiliary inputs. If I cannot get the tuner fixed, then it will be replacing the tuner input. So that's that. And these are some voltage regulators. I was going to use these to get the new cassette motors with the power source it's looking for. These are 12-volt motors, and as we know from the last video, this whole thing runs at 18 volts. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is get one of these motors apart and lubricate the bearings and maybe make sure that it'll take 18 volts without a problem, because I would rather not retrofit these in there if I don't have to. So yes, first things first, let's get this motor dealt with. And we will just see what we can see inside here. First off, back cover is going to have to come off. Easily done. I have to make note of where the holes are to get in here to access this speed potentiometer. But whatever. I can figure that out later. So why is this not coming apart? It looks like there's some kind of a plastic carrier in there or something. Am I even going to be able to get this apart? Okay, so I got the controller out. We have a 25 volt capacitor, so that's no problem, but we do have a problem with this AN6651X, because I'm not sure if this will take 18 volts. I'm going to do a little bit more research yet before making a decision on that, but I just want to keep trying to get this motor apart here, and it's not very easy. Or rather, I thought it wasn't very easy. Seems like it wants to actually come apart now. And oh, I see why. There's a pin that was soldered to the circuit board right there, it looks like. So I'm going to have to fix that as well. Which is no problem. I've still got the iron heated up, so I will just clear that hole right now. So we'll just get the motor apart. These cheap Chinese motors just irritate me. Having trouble getting this one apart. Hope I'm not causing damage. It appears to be okay, but I'm really not loving the construction of this thing. But I can get some oil into it from here, so I will. All right, that's the back bearing done. And the front bearing is done. So I may actually have to use the voltage regulators after all when it comes to this. We shall see. But this motor has been lubricated. Like I said, this doesn't have to light the world on fire, it just has to work. So let me check on this real quick, and I'll figure out whether or not I've got to actually use the regulators. Give me a sec. So yes, I am going to have to use the voltage regulators on this, because I don't see any other way to make this work. So I'm going to get this motor back together real quick, and we'll check it out and make sure it works on the bench power supply, and then I'll figure out what to do with the voltage regulators. So the motor is back together now, and we can just give it a little test to see if it actually works. I've got 12 volts on the bench power supply, so we'll see. It is working. and very quietly, so hopefully this will do for our purposes. So the voltage regulators I have are these. What are they again? I can't read the numbers. These are L7812, so they should work, I think. I'll have to come up with a way to mount these and whatnot, but we'll do that once I get in there. Okay, so here's what I am thinking for the voltage regulator. I think I'll just put it down right in there. You can see there's that hole. Looks like a good place to put it. So that is, I think, where I'm going to put it. But I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll get this motor apart and see if I can get it to work better. It kind of wants to work, but it kind of can't. I don't know exactly what's going on with it, but maybe I'll get in there and see. Because it's always best to reuse this if possible, because the replacement is significantly smaller. So let me get the tape deck out of this thing, and yes, that's still the old pinch roller. I'm going to have to replace that too. Now I remember why I had two brand new pinch rollers sitting there. Okay, so capstan belt off. Looks like I'm going to have to do some repairs to that wire, of course. Okay, now we've got a brass pulley to take off this thing. Wonderful. I'm going to have to go get out the hot air. First, I would love to know, though, what is going on with this motor that can't start upside down like the way it was mounted. I think it's dead spotting or something. I actually don't even know if I can save this motor the way it's acting, but we'll try. We'll make an effort, is what we will do. Okay, so I've got the feeler gauges here set to the pulley depth of this thing, and we're just going to have to heat the pulley up so we can pull it off. Part of the issue is this is epoxied on or something like that, so you got to really break that bond in order to get the pulley off. There we go. Don't think the shaft is bent, which is good, because a bendy shaft is an unhappy shaft, and we don't like unhappy shafts. Okay, we got a couple of capacitators. 116 volt, 125 volt, so I'm going to have to uprate the 16 volt one if I can find one. So I'm just going to mark the motor so I can figure out exactly how it goes back together. I'll put a blue dot right there, another blue dot down in here, and one right here, because we have to get all the way inside this motor. Let's see, where did I put my thinger? Here's the thinger I used to do the thing with. I think I would rather use this stuff than the solder sucker right now, honestly. This really does not feel like a good day for me to be working, but if I'm gonna have a video ready for Saturday, it has to be something. And it might as well be the Bose, because it's been sitting forever. And with respect to Wednesday's video on the projectors, unfortunately, I have yet again found out that it is impossible to find a new lamp for that old 131 XE. So both Optomas are going bye-bye. I've come up with a temporary permanent solution for this. I say temporary because I would still like to get another 4K projector in here. I say permanent because this could very well be a good enough projector. I will not want to replace it anytime soon. It is a laser projector, but it's only 1080p, so we'll see how much I like it. There will be a video on the subject eventually when it gets here. It is nowhere near here, so could be a while. Alright, and these are everybody's favorite Panasonic SU capacitors, so I'm going to look for both of them, I think. 3.3 microfarads at 25 volts. 10 microfarads at 16 volts. Let me see if I've got those. Okay, so the motor's been recapped. This one's 50 volt, this one's 63 volts, so I'm not going to have any more voltage related problems, I hope, but I'm curious and I want to see just how bad these capacitors are. This one's the 3.3. 3 microfarads, 4 ohms ESR, kind of marginal. And this is the 10 microfarad, measuring at 2.6 ohms. Okay. Not great, not terrible. Anyhow, let's get into the motor now and we'll see what's what with this thing. Do I have to replace it? Do I not have to replace it? This one's still got a little bit of glue in the on the shaft, which is kind of pulling through the front bearing now, but can't be avoided. Oh, look at this. This has been super well used. May not actually be repairable, but we'll give it a shot. Oh, the brushes are down to nothing. No wonder this doesn't work. Holy smokes, this is really bad. This is the worst motor I've seen, I think, for wear. There's nothing left of the brushes. Oh yes. That looks awful in there. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, it is no wonder this thing was working so poorly. And the brushes are toast. They're bent, but I've been able to bend them back before. But my concern is there's just not enough of them left to engage the commutator on this. So this motor's gone. Absolutely gone. Toast. Dead. Fried. Not gonna work no more. So I'm at a crossroads here. The data sheet said that this chip or that this transistor in here, or this motor controller in here, will not take more than 14.4 volts, but this deck runs at 18 volts. So do I go ahead and do the, well, let's check this first. Oh yeah, the pulley will work on that. Okay, one regulator out. Let's move you over here. Yeah, I think that's right where the regulator is going to go. I do believe that's where I'm going to put it. If I can find screws and whatnot, then it's fine. So let me see what I can come up with here for a solution to this problem, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I think I'm getting this regulator all wired in and ready to go. You'll see there's a capacitor on it. That's a 0.33 microfarad. Basically what I'm doing here is I am replicating this from the data sheet. 0.1 microfarads on the output and 0.33 on the input. This one here will be installed at the motor because it's huge, but I think this might work, provided I can get this on here without worrying about it shorting out. I'm going to use some capstan tape to help that, I hope. But I'll put thermal grease on and stuff yet, and heat shrink for the for this one lead, and I think it'll just sit down in there. But one thing I should mention is I don't have the proper hardware to do a tap for that hole, so what I did was I took this screw and I let it tap the hole for me. So I think it'll work, but I don't know, it's a little bit questionable, but whatever. I'm going to get this installed and probably fire it up with a bench power supply, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I think I am ready to test this circuit now and see if it works. I hope it works, because if it don't work, I don't know what else to do here. Okay, so I need ground. Feed the ground in from that side and the positive in this side, I think. So I will fire up the bench power supply, and I'm going to turn it up to 18 volts. Like the deck, or like the thing gives you, and we're just going to see if it fires up. It's obviously working, but really fast. That is not going to work how fast it is. So let me check the voltage output at the motor here, and we'll see if it's running the way it's supposed to be running, or getting the voltage it's supposed to be getting, is what I mean to say. .12 volts. Yes, it is getting the right voltage. So the regulator is doing its job. But it's running so fast, I'm worried about getting it down to speed. So where are my alignment tools? Can I find them anywhere? How am I going to do this? Crap, the motor is not adjustable anymore. So this motor's gone, if it ever was there. So let me put the other one in and we'll see what happens. Okay, shall we try this again with the other motor? I think, I'm not sure, I'll have to check my footage, I had that original motor wired backwards. So that's fun, after I just spent a lot of time getting inside it to lube up the bearings, but on this one I just lubed the front bearing. I'm not getting all the way back in there again. So let's fire it up and see what happens. Oh, I think we've got a success now. That makes me happy. So, ow. Keep forgetting how pointy these dang things are. Then touching them by accident. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the other side and install a new pinch roller. And then hopefully the cassette version, or the cassette portion of this machine is done. Okay, so the deck is back together with a new pinch roller, and it looks like everything's going to fit fine in here with regards to my new modifications. But before we go any further into this, I wanted to check and see if the cassette deck actually works now. I just don't know about this tuner, but tuners for later. Right now we're testing this, so let's power on. Power is on. See, I'll crank the bass and treble because that's what Bose apparently likes you to do. Okay, where's the eject? That's that one there. I'm not getting a lot of take-up torque there. Let's see if it makes noise. It says never played yet, to my knowledge. Well, it obviously played before because that motor was worn right out, but let's see what we got here. See, eject, record, play. Yes, we have audio. Let's fast forward. It is playing for the first time in God knows how long. I think it needs some azimuth adjustment. Let me put you down here and I'll see if I can dial it in a little better. Okay, what do I need for this? First of all, which one is the azimuth adjustment? I'm not expecting this to be perfect for wow and flutter. We'll check that later. It is possible to do on this machine. Oh, I cannot find anything today. Where is my flashlight? Where are my tools? Where is my head at? All right, I think I've figured out what I'm doing here. I'm not sure, but I think I have it figured out. Go for play. I think maybe we'll deal with this a little later, this azimuth situation. Just trying some other stuff here. Yeah, azimuth and stuff and tape speed, that can all be done later. For now, I'm just glad that this thing is working, because it sure wasn't before. So, I guess I will shut off the camera now until tomorrow when I've got more time to get into the tuner and Bluetooth stuff. And yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll come back tomorrow. Okay, so it is time to move on to the possible tuner repair. I'm still not sure that this is going to work. The offending transistor I flagged for replacement is this one right here. And I just hope this solves the problem because I don't know exactly if it is going to. I think it might be the problem, but I don't know for sure. I'm not a tuner guy, so I'm going to make exactly one attempt to fix this thing, and if it doesn't work, then, well, Bluetooth. So the iron is heating up right now. Actually, it is heated up. So I'm just going to desolder this transistor, and we'll replace it. Or at least try to. I could be using the hot air for this, but I've got the hot air put away and I don't want to get it out again. It's gonna suck soldering around something this tiny, but whatever. It's gotta be done. And it is moving. Almost off. And it is off. So, tweezers. Where are my tweezers? Here are my tweezers. Transistor off. Oh yeah, it's done. I'm trying to grab it here so I can show you possibly. There's a hole blown in the bottom of it. So this might actually fix this. Might, but probably won't. We'll see. I hope I got the right transistors too. That's always a possibility that I screwed that up. So I'm still trying to think of a good way to install this Bluetooth stuff, and I think what I'll probably end up doing is completely removing the auxiliary input jacks and hardwiring it that way. If I had a switch, I would try to use a switch to work with it and get it to switch the auxiliary and Bluetooth between each other, but I don't have any switches. There. One transistor replaced. Okay, so it's back together far enough for testing. You have to put the tape deck back into this in order to get any of this to work, because the power to the tuner goes through this. So remains to be seen whether or not this will actually work, but we won't have to wait long. Let's turn it on now. I'm still not seeing anything up here. Wishful thinking. We are not going to get the tuner working in this thing. In fact, it probably blew open my brand new transistor in the process, but that's okay. This doesn't need to work, this tuner. In fact, it's preferable if it doesn't work, because it's easier now for me to install the Bluetooth stuff. So this is going to have to be what it is, and just no tuner. I'll leave this here to make sure it looks good, but that's all I care about. So I'm going to have to take this all back apart again and figure out exactly what and where and how I'm going to do the Bluetooth stuff. So give me a little bit to think about this. Well, I think I'm ready to turn my teeth blue on this. I did make a little bit more of an effort to try and figure out exactly what's going on with that tuner, but I can't find the problem, and I don't think I have any reasonable amount of time to keep looking for it, so I'm just going to leave the tuner broken. In the current environment I'm living in, the tuner is almost worthless anyway, so why bother fixing it? So to do the Bluetooth mod, we need to get audio into the unit, and we need to get power out of the unit. So where are we going to do that from? Well, for power, that shouldn't be too hard. We need the B plus from somewhere. We can get it from here, probably. I think pin 2. Yeah, that's the line coming in from the power switch. Pin 2 there. Problem is, I can't find this connector in the actual unit. There is a 4-pin connector that kind of looks like this, but it's not that connector. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we've got some differences between the schematic and the actual unit in front of us here. So that's fun. However, we can also get the power from this. This is the connector that goes up to the tuner controller. And I'm planning on leaving the tuner controller disconnected. At least I think I am. Not sure if I'm going to do it that way or not, but we'll see. But we can get power and ground from there as well. Now for audio, I've tracked that down, and this is where the audio comes out. You've got these 2 diodes here. These are blocking diodes. Their purpose is to keep the audio from the cassette deck from backfeeding back into the tuner circuitry, so I will be reusing those diodes. Most likely what I'll do is I'll cut the traces leading to the diodes, and then I'll solder my signal injection wires directly to the diodes underneath. So that shouldn't be too difficult if I can find those. I don't know if I can, because this device is not very well labeled inside, but we'll see what we can do. I'll put you back on the table here, and we will have a look at the actual Bluetooth module itself. First off, I've got these antennas for it. These are in case the circuitry can't pick up Bluetooth from where I plan to install it. And I don't know where I plan to install it yet. We got to figure that out too. Here's the Bluetooth module. It took me quite a while to find one of these that would actually work for this unit, because I needed something that would work on a little bit higher voltage than normal. And this one fits the bill. I've got an included right angle connector in case this one doesn't work out for us. Just take the protective cap off that. I would rather not solder a new connector on there, but if I have to, I can. Or no, wait, that's the exact same connector. Okay, I guess I have to account for this then. Unless I wire directly to that, but I'd like to use the included pigtail if I can. So, let's open this up. And this here is why I chose this particular module. 5 to 35 volt input voltage. Otherwise, Bluetooth version 4.2 tells you the Bluetooth name and all that other good stuff. And I was going to try and find a switching source of power for this. Like there's a circuit component to this unit that makes you think that the tuner switches off when the cassette is playing. I was thinking of trying to go in with that, but it appears that I was mistaken about that, and it doesn't actually do that. Because I did some measurements this morning, and I literally still had the B plus at the tuner control board, whether or not the cassette was playing. So we're going to have to just wire this directly into the full B plus and have it turn on and off with the whole machine. That's the only way I can think to do this. So I'll put this back in here for now, and I have to open this machine back up again. But first I should probably do some measurements to see if I can figure out where my B plus is going to come from. Okay, so I have identified exactly where I'm getting my B plus from. It's this pin right here of this connector. That goes to the cassette deck. I think there's a problem on this one. The pin that's supposed to have the B plus on it has nothing on it, so that's further indication that there's a problem back in here. Remember, this is the transistor I tried to replace. So basically this connector is not going to get used anymore. I've tested the device with it unplugged, and it doesn't hurt anything to have the tuner control board unplugged. So I'm going to leave it that way permanently. So Still have yet to find those diodes to figure out where I'm injecting my signal at, but I'll get to those in due time. But I'll show you the module as I have it prepped right now. I've got this pigtail and I have these connectors. I bought these pigtails and connectors for servicing the Onkyo receiver, which I know I'm having trouble getting myself back into, but amplifiers for me are as I feel comfortable with them. If I don't feel comfortable with them, then it's okay for me to decide not to work on them, I've decided. I don't want to rush myself around those things. Anyhow, I have tested this. I've powered it up with the bench power supply. It works. No problems there. So I'm going to have to find my ground yet. That's not going to be hard. So let me get to this, and hopefully once I've got everything wired, I can show you exactly what I did, but I don't know. This is going to be problematic, I think, trying to get this wired up, but we'll see. Okay, folks, so this is where the Bluetooth module is going to go. I was hoping to put it underneath, but it doesn't work. Literally cannot get it to fit. So I'm going to put it there with some double-sided tape directly under the tuner board. It goes in place, no problem. So nobody will ever know that thing's in there unless they try to Bluetooth into it, in which case they'll know it's there. Yeah, this thing fell off. Oh well, I'll deal with that later. Now my next process is to find those diodes on there. So let me do that, and I will get back to you when I've got them found. Took a little doing, but I have found the diodes in question. These are them right there. I'm not sure which is left and right yet. I'll have to look at the bottom of the board a little bit more, but they couple through these two capacitors here back to this chip eventually. There's a bunch of surface mount crap underneath to get the signal through first from the tuner. Basically comes all through here. By the way, if I can find something to point with, let's use a Q-tip. This device right here is a fuse, I do believe, and there are several more like it down in the area of concern here, but I checked them and they're all good, because of course they are. Anyway, let's see, where are my parts again? Okay, there's the diodes right here. What I can do is I can just remove these two coupling capacitors and I can just solder my wires directly in there once I figure out left and right. And I can do that through the schematics plus looking at the traces on the board. I think pin 4 on this IC is, what is it? I'm looking at the schematics again. Pin 4 is left, so pin 7 is right. Pin 7 is over here. So I just got to figure which is which, and I'll be off to the races here. Oh, and also I have to find a signal ground for the input yet, or for the Bluetooth input. Fun stuff. Let me get to it. Okay, so the audio cable is in. This is it right here. Got your left channel right there and right channel down below. And I've left the capacitors in there just for giggles, but whatever. These are the two diodes here. They're still connected. I just felt coming in with the where the capacitors go is just a little bit of a better approach than try to drill holes and pull the wires through and all that stuff. And for the ground, I just pulled it in over here. Connects directly to pin 8 of this IC, which is connected directly to ground, so should work just fine. This cable here will no longer be used, so I'll tuck it down in here when I put the board back together and all that. But before I do that, I have to figure out what I'm doing for power and ground, which is going to be on this connector down here. Alright folks, I think it's ready to go. I haven't connected power yet to the Bluetooth module, but I want to check first to see if I got it wired correctly. Should be wired. I'll show you what I did up here. Here's the module, as mentioned, and the audio just runs down where the where that one wire for the tuner went. So hopefully that should be all okay now. The tuner control board is out permanently, so there's no point connecting that, so I'm not going to bother. And yes, I think we should be good to go. So let's see if we get our power for the Bluetooth module. And what happens? Right now there's nothing, so let's power on. Rather, let me turn on the power to the device. Okay, it's on. And I'm getting nothing. How am I getting nothing? Oh, great. I gotta figure out where else to patch into the B+, I guess. I must have picked the wrong area. Take two. Had it soldered in the wrong place. The ground, that is. We're good now. So just shut it off real quick and I'll connect the Bluetooth. Oh, and also this thing has to be done. Kind of needs to be there. All right, I think we're ready to go. Now I gotta get my screwdriver here. I don't know if I can even show you this, but to connect the power source on this, you just press down here and push the wires in. So let me do that real quick, if I can. Okay, let's see if the Bluetooth fires up. Sure does. Look at that. Flash, flash, flashity flash. Oh, I hear noise in the audio. This may not be an ideal solution, but let me get some audio into that and we'll see what it sounds like. Might have to shield that somehow. I don't know exactly how I would do that though. Okay, let me see if my Bluetooth is connected here. It is connected. Let me find some music that won't hit copyright on me. It's playing. I think. Not hearing a thing, so there might be more damage to this than I thought there was. Should be connected. Okay, there it is. This may not work. It's clearly getting audio. The auxiliary was on. I do not know what to do about that distortion. Let me think about this. I might not be able to actually do the Bluetooth on this thing unless I go through the auxiliary input like I said before. Actually, let's try it through the auxiliary. Give me a second here. Thankfully, it is possible to do this. It's just not ideal. Track is playing. Perfect audio that way. So that might be exactly how I have to solve this problem. Irritating. Unplug my patch cord again. I'll plug the input through the circuitry. Yeah, let me look through the schematics and I'll see if I can figure out what to do here. Okay, folks, this is the circuit diagram for this, assuming it's actually applicable to this unit. I've already found spots where the schematics don't match up with reality, but here's the output from the tuner right down here, if I can show you. Let's see, I'll use my finger right there, I think. Wait, no, it's down here. That's the output from the tuner. This is where the signal is currently connected from the Bluetooth module at right there and right there. So it's going into the diodes, not coming out of the diodes. So it goes from there up to here and connects to the positive of this particular capacitometer and this one up here. These are 2.2 microfarad. I know where they are in the unit. They're clear across the other side of the board where I've got my audio hooked up, so I would have to extend the leads if I wanted to come out all the way up here. But after the 2.2s, it comes down into this switch here, which is the auxiliary and internal switch. That's what switches between the aux inputs and internal, obviously. So I can see what they've done here is there's a 27K resistor, but this may not match reality on the auxiliary input. And I don't know what's going on here. One of you guys that are smarter, I can't talk. One of you guys that's smarter than me will have to let me know exactly what to do to make this Bluetooth thing work, because I'm not good enough with the engineering side of this as I would need to be to get this working. I think I could bring in the audio on the other side of C520 and 519. That might work, but it might not work. See, on this side it comes right through the switch down to 521 and 522. Those are 10 microfarad parts, and clearly those are good because the auxiliary input works. So I don't know, maybe the solution is to run a 27K resistor like the auxiliary input has in series with the audio input from the Bluetooth, and then just come to this side of C520 and 519. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I really don't have any more time for experimenting on this today. I have to get this video in the can, edited, and up on the site like today. Otherwise, there's not going to be a video for tomorrow. So we at least got the cassette deck working on this thing. Oh, and the other thing is, I don't know exactly if I even want to keep the Bluetooth module in there with how much noise it was putting into the rest of the unit. So thoughts about that might be appreciated as well. So I'm going to conclude this video here, and next video might be in 2 weeks because I'm going to get into the Hitachi D980M next. And I want to give myself enough time to have it done, and Hitachi is annoying, so might take extra time. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Okay, so more drama. Guess what doesn't fit where I put it? If you guessed the Bluetooth module, you would be correct. So I'm going to have to pull this metal shield off the tuner control board in order to get this to fit there.